But let me just share a few numbers with you. Now, I'm a facts and figures guy. I was introduced to this business by my mom, who I'm thankful for the fact that she didn't give up on me. I was the naysayer. I was the one sitting in the aisle mad at the person who invited me. I didn't think this worked. I insisted the only person making any money was the speaker, and the corporation was paying them. The testimonies were staged. You know, this stuff doesn't work. It's snake oil. I was that guy. But she didn't give up on me, so don't give up on your people. But I want to explain to you over the course of this next hour how I joined the business and how anybody that I've met that builds anything of any significance joins the business. Now, let me set the stage by saying my mom enrolled me. She introduced it to me. She built a bridge. She enrolled me. She didn't get me going into the business. She didn't get me engaged. She didn't give up. She was coachable and did exactly what she was taught to do, and didn't try to do it herself, and that's the whole reason I stand here today. And that's the reason many of you are here today. But let me run some numbers by you. Now, the industry is about 60 years old, and there's been somewhere between 150,000 to 200,000 network marketing companies in that window, give or take a couple. So a lot of network marketing companies in the history of the industry. Now, it's $100 and some billion a year industry, so love it or hate it, it is huge, and it's here to stay. So, only 50 out of that 150,000 or so survived 10 years. So only 50. Now, a lot of us don't like the way we've been approached by other people in this industry, so we just assume that it doesn't work. We just assume they're all the same, and that's exactly what I did. But out of the 50 that survived, only 64 have gone to 100 million in annual sales. I like to say commissionable sales, because some companies play funny games with the numbers. They include their swag, they include their convention sales, they include their websites, things that you and I don't get commissioned on. And frankly, what we should care about is the actual commissionable sales. I don't like to play funny games, and I love that Xango doesn't either. But only 64 have gone to 100 million, but they're all the next big one. Everybody you sit in front of, it's the next big one. 36 of the over 150,000 have gone to $250 million in annual commissionable sales. Only 36. Well, only 11 have gone to $1 billion. So 11 network marketing companies have gone to $1 billion. $1 billion's a big number. I don't throw it around lightly. When I first saw this industry, and people were always using the billion, we're the next $1 billion company. Everybody you sit in front of, we're going to be $1 billion company. I got off the phone with a guy a couple weeks ago. He's in Shackley. Now, he's been in network marketing for 15 years. And somebody in my downline in the back put me on the phone with this guy. And he was telling me that he just joined Shackley. He was in another company, and the company folded, of course. And they weren't one of the 64 that made it to the 10th year. And he was telling me that he chose Shackley. Shackley? Now, you don't need to know about Shackley. I know about Shackley, and that was a terrible decision. See, the biggest thing I've learned in my 7.5 years in network marketing is that there's dramatic differences in the doability and the sustainability. Yet they all sound the same to the uneducated network marketer's ear. They don't teach us this stuff in school. And that brings up another point. Our parents don't teach us about network marketing typically. High school, I missed the class on network marketing in high school. I missed the class on wealth building in my 2 years of college. They didn't teach me that in anger management either. They didn't teach us about some of these things. And when I run into people, they say, well, it's different. Network marketing is, you're not going to do network marketing. Well, only 1% of the people in this country, 1 out of 100, according to the Social Security Administration, 1 out of 100 in the richest country in the history of the world is wealthy. I want to be one of the wealthy 1%, don't you? I want to be one of the wealthy. Well, 1 out of 100 is different. You're dang right network marketing is different. So is being one of the wealthy 1%. But I'm not going to run around on a cage for 40 years and working for somebody like many of us do because that's what we're taught, that's what we think is the only option. Well, if you look at the stats from the Social Security Administration, out of 100 people by the age 65, 94% of us are dead or dead broke. 66 of us live on under $30,000 a year, which I don't know how you do that. 16 of us don't make it to 65, which could be part of our product presentation. 5 of us live on over $60,000 a year, which to me is still tough once you get a taste. Do you think that being in Bora Bora with your family, enjoying life, not worrying about money is just reserved for people like Brad Pitt? Do you think it's reserved for Beverly and Gary? If you don't think you were born to be great, think again. You're born for more than what you've accomplished. We all were. We're the only living thing that can will ourselves to be less than we can potentially. How tall does a tree grow? As tall as it can. How fast does a cheetah run? As fast as it can. We're the only living thing that can will ourselves to be less than what we were born to be. Let's be one of the wealthy 1%. It's okay that we do something that's different than what school teaches us, because what we've always been doing historically is not working. The numbers don't lie. It's not working. And those numbers are from 7 or 8 years ago. I'd be willing to bet that it's worse now. I bet 1/2 of 1% is wealthy. I bet you 3 out of 100 make over 60,000. I bet you instead of 66 make 30,000 or less, it's 86. Choose which one. I loved your presentation if you talked about choosing. Be more. Do more with your life. And that's really what this industry is about. I love that John and Gina chose to do more with their life than being an auto mechanic. Because you were going to be a 94%. Most of us just kind of go through our life, just think, well, success is going to attack us. I'm going to tell you, if it knocks on your door, opportunity knocks, it shows up in the form of overalls and work boots. I promise you, this is called network marketing. I was setting an expectation. What's your name again? Michelle. Michelle from Seattle, who's going to move to Arizona. Because it's a great place to live. Yep. I wish I got commission on the people I encouraged to buy an iPhone or move here. But, what was I saying?
Opportunity knocks.
Network marketing.
I'm convinced that whoever coined it that built the downline first. Kenny, did I tell you it was going to be easy?
No, it's not.
But it's a heck of a lot easier than getting up to an alarm clock for the next 40 years with no light at the end of the tunnel. It's a lot easier than being told when you can go to lunch. I remember I worked for, I can't even remember. Charles Schwab. I was going through to get my Series 7. Man, that is hard. I'm not smart enough to get my Series 7. I tell you, that was hard. But I remember telling my mom, I'm not made for this. I said, they herd us up and down the halls like cattle. You go to this room, and this room, and that room, and you get a half hour for lunch, and you're forced to stay there because they don't give you enough time and spend more money so they can profit from the food. I got a great job. People, it's not going to just happen for us. If you look at the numbers, you look at the facts, we're not just going to wander through life and end up wealthy, or end up free, or build an asset that we can will to our children, or gift to somebody if we choose, or sell. I was talking, and that's another thing people don't talk about in this business. This is an asset. This is yours. If for some reason I don't make it home today, my family still enjoys the residual income, and they'll enjoy it for the rest of their life. If you're in the car business, if you're in insurance, if you're a real estate professional, if you're in retail, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if something happens, even if you're the owner, if something happens to you, guess what? The overhead continues, the income stops. Stops. You're the asset. That's why when you build a traditional business and you go to sell it, it's not worth that much in many cases because you don't come with it. And oftentimes you have to sign where you consult with them for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. Well, when your heart's out of something, when I was in real estate, when my heart was gone, a day seemed like a month. I remember the vice president of sales kept saying, a few more months, you're the next manager. A few more months? I don't know that I want to be a manager. The salespeople are making more. Their life expectancy is very short, higher expectation. If you want to know where you're going to end up with your job in 5 years, you could probably look at the people who've been there 5 years longer than you, because you don't have any control over it. The only person with leverage is the CEO. That's the one making the most money.